Greetings and salutations from your boy STD. Gonna be bringing you another mirror today. This is a high level Force Commander mirror. ValHero and Cry are the players involved. Yes, Volt is Cry. Don't know the background, you have to ask him. And we're on Ashes of Typhon Vanilla, not the Redux. I think I do prefer the Redux, but I suppose we can't really cry imbalance here, because we've got a mirror anyway, so we'll just see how the players manage to deal with the quirks of the map, notably these two VPs being very defensible. I think with Space Marines, this can definitely come into play in the late game. Holding these two VPs is super easy with a powerful ranged faction with high HP, and then you can keep decapping this with the scouts. So in a mirror, I think I would be going for VPs a little bit more than otherwise, because obviously the game is symmetrical. Now yeah, I mean, if a game's symmetrical and it's balanced, if you get a big lead early on, it could snowball pretty easily, right? But honestly, there's so many combat mechanics in this game, between the fact that you get red when you lose units as well as when you kill them, you know, the upkeep mechanic, the pop mechanic. I wouldn't put too much weight on having a strategy where you just overwhelm the enemy early on and win like that in a mirror. I think it's quite tough to make decisive plays in a mirror. You can, it depends on the mirror. You know, like Orcs and Tyranids. If you get a really good major engagement with those factions in their mirrors, you can just win the game, because both of those factions have such high DPS. You end up wiping like 3 units, and yeah, the enemy can't recover then. Space Marines, it's tougher. Certainly in Tier 2, if it becomes a Walker versus Walker situation and you snipe their Dreadnought, and then you get 2 Dreadnoughts out when they have 1, that's when things can start snowballing. But who's to say that you have to get Dreadnoughts in a mirror? Now I was going to say one of the other things that can be a deciding factor in this mirror is if you wipe one of the Marine squads with a grenade and retreat. Say you wipe out Tactical Marines with plasma guns in Tier 2 when they're leveled up, or you wipe out ASM. That's going to be pretty huge, and I'm not saying that's an instant win, it isn't, but it's very close. However, we're already seeing a little bit of deviation here. So ValHero is going for some snipers, whereas Cry is going for the more traditional, I would say, upgraded scouts. So we've got 1 shotgun and 1 sergeant. Now I kind of would assume that eventually we will see both upgrades on both of these guys. See, the snipers are focusing on the tactical marines, which makes a lot more sense. Obviously bleeding them is going to cost a lot more than bleeding scouts. We see shotguns and sergeants coming in. I find this weird from Val. I don't like going for 1 sniper, that doesn't really make much sense to me. And I have to assume he's mostly memeing. Val's the kind of player that he loves doing this shit. He doesn't like to play seriously, he doesn't like being bound by the meta, he likes to constantly experiment, lest he gets bored. But one of the advantages of the snipers is it will deal with the tactical marines in cover here very well. Snipers, of course, ignore cover, if you didn't know. Very unlucky not to get a model kill there, though. And he's really going to be feeling bad about that. That said, of course, those tanks are now going to be in base for a long time healing up. And one of the scouts retreats off the battlefield. So this gives Val a little bit of time to try and take back the map. To be honest, his map control isn't that bad given how aggressive Cry was being there. Cry was clearly focusing on the generators more than anything else. All he has is this VP, but even having this VP, Val has this power node, so they've actually got the same number of points capped.
Adding support structure.
And we're going to see devs. I find that extremely strange. I don't understand why you'd ever get devs in an FC mirror in Tier 1. Even against the shotgun play, shotguns obviously do most damage up close, but they've got the infiltration, they've got the nade, so you won't go Devastators. You're against a Force Commander who can get Teleporter Pack in Tier 2, or can get Storm Shield in Tier 1, both of which hard counter the Devastators, and, more important in this instance, you're fighting snipers Why the heck would you get devs against snipers? Snipers counter setup teams. And the other thing, like, there's so many reasons you don't get devs normally. I mean, I'm very curious why you got devs, Cry. Why did you do it? The other thing is, ASM are typically, well, they're the most common unit typically in a Space Marine mirror. Certainly a Force Commander mirror. So again, they counter the Devastators. I don't really understand that pick. We'll see how it does for Cry. Where's he sending them? Okay, so they're offlaning now. Maybe he's just using them to hold this far side, because he knows they can 1v1 the Force Commander if nothing else can. And then he can keep his fully upgraded scouts together with his Force Commander and his tax and fight over here. That's an okay idea. I don't like it though, because the snipers will just go down there and they can obviously easily 1v1 the Devastator. And then you're going to have to send some scouts over anyway. So, I don't know. Not sure how I feel about that one. Now, map control is looking very good for Cry. However, he's definitely invested more. He's quite far behind on power. I mean, quick maths, 40 on each of these, 80, nothing there, nothing there. 110 power for Cry. Versus, what snipers? Are they 25 right now? So yeah, like, wow. Just a little bit over half the power Valor spent compared to Cry. So super cheap, tier 1. But it's punishing him. Look at the VPs. VPs are bleeding like crazy here. Valor does have the tech lead. He's got a shitload of requisition. Not a lot of red. He's probably wanting to drop down another tax squad with a drop pod, but he needs the red. Ooh, is there an attempted nade there? It doesn't look like it got anything, because I can't see any red pings on the map where things have died. I mean, cracking rounds the sniper are doing some pretty good damage to the Devastators, but yeah, not good enough. Can't actually finish off the final model. Optimistic grenade goes in, doesn't really achieve a whole lot, and we're going to get a Razorback. I feel like that Razorback was really delayed. I didn't actually notice, maybe it wasn't, maybe he literally just hit tier 2. No. He had to hit tier 2 ages ago, and he easily had the power. I'm a bit confused. Yeah, no, that was super delayed, because Cry is already tier 2 and getting his Razorback. Honestly, at this point I would be cancelling that and just getting a Dreadnought. But I guess the problem with the Dreadnought is that he doesn't actually have ASM, which... oh, it's so weird not to have ASM. If you had ASM, then you can easily snare an enemy Razorback with your jump into Melter Bomb, and then you can kill it with your Melter Gun Dreadnought. And Melter Gun Dreadnoughts are actually pretty good in the ASM mirror. Because they can pop Tactical Marine, and, well, they can pop all the Marine models pretty easily, which can bleed your opponent. So Val's pushing back pretty well actually here. He's capping all of his side of the map, and he's getting the contested VP and the natural VP of Cry. I don't know if he's going to have time to capture this. Let's see where the Razorback goes. Cool colour scheme here for Cry. Nice little white tint on the bottom of the Razorback. Converse Razorback. Yeah, not going to get the cap here, Val. He's got to back off. And now we've got the glorious Razorback fight. Not really contributing a whole lot here. Drops the smoke on the scouts so they don't take too much damage from the pew pew with the Razorback, because that would actually melt the scouts if you focus them instead of the Razorback. And the Force Commander here is rather isolated and has to go. Interesting to see Stern Guard, not really an option that you see very often. I guess right now the scouts have been more threatening than the attacks, but now the attacks have the plasma gun, things are going to change. It looks like the plasma gun's actually missing. Okay, now it's hitting, and you see the sheer amount of damage that they do there. The problem here, of course, is there are 4 Stern Guards in a squad versus only 3 Tactical Marines. You can see, even with 4 the Emperor used, Stern Guard getting wrecked. I mean, plasma attacks are just amazing. They're so good. And the fact that all their damage comes out in a short burst as well is so good for wiping out models. And then, of course, that gets rid of the effective DPS of the opponent's units, as well as obviously bleeding them. So the Devastators have already upgraded to a las cannon. I'd really like to see tier 2 ASM here from Val. He still has a decent amount of requisition. Has he spent... Where's the power gone? Okay, here we go. The power has gone on a teleporter pack and a power fist. I heard Armor of Alacrity. I wonder if that's coming up next. It is indeed. Yep, so there goes all of Val's resources. He is pumping it into the Force Commander, who he is going to use to try and counter the Razorback. So he has the teleport to get close to it, but then the Razorback's super quick, which is kind of problematic. However, you can get the Armor of Alacrity, which passively increases the speed of the Force Commander by 0.5, but it also gives him the Sprint ability, which temporarily gives him +2 speed. So with both of those bonuses and the melee charge into combat, the Force Commander can actually catch up with the Razorback and try and punch it to death. But not if there's support. Like, the problem is he's still not immune to suppression or knockback, so Shotgun Scouts can pop out of the Razorback and defend it pretty easily. And also, even just having the Razorback stood still, if there's attacks and double scouts nearby repairing it, they're just going to shoot the Force Commander to death before they can actually kill the Razorback. So I think this is a very suboptimal build from Val, and he probably knows that. You know, this is just what Val does. He likes playing suboptimal builds, nonetheless. But so far, this is looking very, very, very Cry favoured. I mean, we're looking at 400 VPs for Cry, 85 for Val. I am not sure what he's going to be able to do here. He is now driving the Razorback super close to the las cannon. Looks like he's just getting around the Arc of Fire, and I mean just. Wow, that was very clutch. Did he just blow up his tactical marines with a grenade? He did. Jesus Christ, Cry. Attempting to blow up the Razorback there with a grenade, he ended up blowing up a couple of his tactical marines. Not ideal. And now we see the sprinting Force Commander, but pathing prioritization of the bigger Razorback is causing some problems for the Force Commander, and this is part of the issue. Ah, but there you go, for the Emperor on the Stern Guard with their Vengeance rounds, they're going to do a lot of damage. And now the Tactical Marines come out with only one model. Can the Force Commander get the kill? Doesn't go for it. Just going to bleed a couple of the las cannon models. Where is the Force Commander for Cry? Okay, the Force Commander for Cry isn't really achieving a whole lot. Oh, what a pick! What a pick! I was just saying, the Force Commander for Cry is not really doing a whole lot, and Val's is putting in a lot of work. Val's is putting in huge work, teleporting forward and finishing off the final model of that las cannon squad. And that is huge, because Cry still has to deal with this Razorback of ValHero. Now he's going to go for the Emperor into a grenade combo, which on the rear armor might be enough to kill the Razorback, but I guess with the repair support, maybe not. So Cry's fucked it there, man. But he is tier 3. Okay, I didn't realize he was going tier 3. Wow, okay. So he has got the Terminator Force Commander, which I guess makes sense, because he managed to get to tier 3 and he didn't get any upgrades on his own Force Commander. Will it be enough? I mean, I would think that if Cry just drops down Terminators, he should be in a pretty fantastic spot. I guess Dreadnought could still be a problem. Oh, I don't know what he's doing with this teleport here. That was a bit daft. Can the FC kill him? With the Armor of Alacrity chasing potential. Yeah, he can, easily. Even a retreat grenade just in case. Wow. Armor of Alacrity putting in some serious work here. And Cry, I feel like, is just getting super duper cocky. There was no need to teleport after the tax there to kill a model and risk losing your TFC. That's just ridiculous. And now the Force Commander's going kind of crazy. Huge amount of damage from him. Super disruptive. Lots of mobility with the Armor of Alacrity and the Teleporter pack, and another Tactical Marine dies. I guess losing all these models to the Power Fist of the Force Commander is the reason why Cry's like, nah, I'm gonna get you back, I'm gonna teleport my Terminator Force Commander in and kill you with a Power Fist. But it's gonna be a 2-to-1 cap. What's this? Okay, we've got Heavy Bolter Devastators now on the top side with the Vengeance rounds. So just gonna use these to try and contest the contested VP. But the Terminator Force Commander is immune to suppression and can teleport, so yeah, he just teleports in, pew pew pew. The drop pod attacks though, they're fully upgraded, level 2, with a plasma gun. They're going to do a lot of damage. Not entirely sure what Crow was waiting for there. I guess he was microing down here. What's happening? We have a Predator tank on the field, but the problem is that we have Stern Guard in cover with the Vengeance rounds, and they shall know no fear. That Predator tank needs to get back very quickly, or at least the Shotgun Scouts need to disrupt the Stern Guard. The Stern Guard needs to be the priority, not the Razorback. I don't know what he's doing.
The enemy has 3.
I think Cry is playing very, very greedy right now. You don't need to kill the Razorback that badly. You've got a tank. You can deal with that Razorback anytime later on. Oh my god. ValHero has swapped his tanks, who are flanking, to a missile launcher. And then the Force Commander teleports in as well, the Power Fist. This is a dead tank. Cry is throwing this game so hard. I don't know how he's managed to throw this so hard. All he needed to do was get Terminators. Val basically gave him the game again there, where he went for Devastators instead of a Dreadnought. How the hell would Val have killed Terminators? What, with one Plasma Gun Tactical Marine? Come on. Cry even has his own Plasma Tacs. Oh, had. He might lose them now to this Force Commander. Oh, really lucky for Cry there that the Force Commander got a bloody special attack instead of a normal one. That, yeah, certainly. 130 HP on this guy. In retreat, that Force Commander would have wiped them. So really, you know, he deserved to lose that squad as well. Wait, what just went down? What did Val just lose? He lost his Stern Guard. What? He mustn't have been watching, I guess. I don't think there was a grenade, right? I don't know. He lost his Stern Guard somewhere. Where did they die? I don't know where they died, but Val lost his Stern Guard. And yeah, you know what? This game is getting pretty sloppy from both sides. And I wouldn't mind, the VPs aren't that low for Cry. I can understand the sloppiness from Val. He's only rocking 40 VPs right now. The pressure is on. He cannot afford to lose these VPs for very long. We're going to see an Assault Cannon Terminator Force Commander. You don't get to see that one very often. Putting in work though. Shrugging off the heavy bolter fire. Leaves one of those Devastators pretty quick. What's going on down here? We've got Tactical Marines called in by the drop pod. Just got the Sergeant going to go into melee. I mean, this is going to drain all of Val's resources. I think he just needs to get out of there. This is not worth it. No. Leaving like crazy. Yikes. Oh man. He lost a lot of tax there. I think that was 4 tax in total. God, that's 300 requisition. That's painful. Now there's another Predator tank on the way. I mean, look, I can't even call this game anymore. I thought for sure Val was screwed, but at this point, they're both making some definitive mistakes, and this is scrappy. Love seeing this Armor of Alacrity Force Commander, though. I really haven't seen that in a long time, and it's put in huge work. I'm telling you, for sure, if he didn't have the Armor of Alacrity, there'd be a lot of instances where he got wipes in this game that he wouldn't have otherwise. Like that! Did you see the speed at which that Force Commander moved to chase the TFC? Holy shit, man. I mean, with the passive speed buff, the sprint speed buff, and then the melee charge speed buff, it's pretty mad the speed that this guy can get to, and he's just accruing more and more levels as well. Of course, as he gets more and more levels, his damage goes up, which just makes it even easier for him to get those model kills or the wipes on retreating units. Because every punch is stronger. So, still a reasonable amount of anti-vehicle on the battlefield. I think the problem for Val is just that he's lower on VPs. It's difficult to consolidate all your anti-vehicle when you're also having to contest the VPs. But this is where this thing comes in that I said at the start of the game, and where the Redux map would make this harder. Like, it's so easy to defend both of these VPs if you just sort of bring most of your ranged troops here. You can rotate between the 2 points relatively easily. Scouts infiltrating makes it a bit harder because you have to get close to them to detect, but yeah, on the Redux version of this map, where the map's like extended over here with one VP here, the other VP there, you can't defend 2 VPs anywhere near as easily as this. So it's definitely something to consider. Fleshover still on the Predator, but where are the missile tags? Now they're really slow to respond. I must admit, Sniper Scouts really didn't achieve much this game. Not very effective. If you're gonna go for Sniper Scouts, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad idea, but if you're gonna do it, you need to commit heavily to it. You need to get at least 2, and you probably don't want attacks. You probably want like triple scouts, 1 with shotgun, 2 with snipers, and then an ASM, I would imagine. Or just sod the ASM and get triple scouts plus attacks. This 1 sniper, 1 shotgun, nah, it's just not good enough. Because you just don't have enough burst damage to bleed the attacks in tier 1 if you only have 1 sniper. So then it just becomes redundant, and you'd be way better off having the normal combat effectiveness of the ordinary shotgun scouts. Okay, so TFC goes in here. Cryer's basically thrown away all of his army. The Predator did go down. He got snared by that last cannon and took out by the combined efforts of the Force Commander, the last cannon, the missile attacks. TFC's proving a bit of a nuisance, but Cryer's just lost too many squads. He lost a scout over here for really not a lot of purpose, to be honest. These scouts had to retreat from the 2 scouts, but now the attacks are here. It's going to be all good. VPs are getting very low. TFC needs to turn around and go for the decap. I don't know. Cryer's clearly mismicroing, overextending him now into the base. And, okay, so the attacks push off them there. The scouts are going to get the cap, but Val has rotated his missile attacks around. They're going to capture the contested VP. Val still has this VP. Okay, so the attacks of Cry are going to push further forward, and they're just going to sit on the VP. Yeah, and Cry's just going to use both of his attacks and the TFC to just cap, no matter what, just cap. This is pretty rough. TFC getting some brutal hits in, actually, with his assault cannon whilst capping, which is quite funny, facing the other direction. Now he's going to turn and fight? No, you can't do that. Therefore, the Emperor plasma gun attacks with full models, and Cry's tactical marines just melt. Just like that. They melt. It is a 1-to-1 cap, and Cry has 6 VPs left. He calls down Assault Terminators. How do you kill Assault Terminators fast? You can't. You can't. So Val needs to just go after this natural VP. Assault Terminators are slow. Val has a Librarian that's used Veil of Time onto the Tactical Marines. It's going to speed them up a bit. But yeah, just ignore the Assault Terminators. You can't kill them fast enough. Just ignore them. Like, the HP regen is insane. They've got huge amounts of HP. Just ignore them. You need to take this VP. There's no questions about it. It's the only choice he has. You cannot kill these guys fast enough.
Victory point in sight, Commander.
The TFC's coming back out as well. Oh my god. Will Cry win this? I mean, he has such a tiny amount of units, but the units he does have do insane damage. But you see, this is the problem. He just doesn't have enough. Like, the Assault Terminators wanted to be chasing all this shit, but they can't, because if they leave this VP, then even the last cannon Devastators are just going to capture the point, so not really going to work. So TFC is trying his best. Unfortunately, he still only has his Assault Cannon. He really could do Lightning Claws right now to rip through all these things a little bit quicker in melee, but there's just too much shit. Too many things. Sniper Scouts, Shotgun Scouts, attacks, and a Libby. And they're going to retake the cap. I mean, the Scouts have sneaked off over here. They're going to go for the contested VP, and obviously nothing can actually deal with the Assault Terminators. Well, I said that. Not true, because there has been a Power Fist Force Commander and Plasma Gun Tactical Marines shooting at them for the whole time of this cap, and now Snipers. Snipers actually do pretty decent damage against Super Heavy Infantry, which is something to bear in mind. So it looks like they're actually going to get forced off. I mean, we see a drop pod, but unfortunately drop pods do not reinforce the Terminators. I mean, you can reinforce the Terminators from the drop pod, but you've got to pay for it, and Cry can't really afford that right now. And he loses the Terminators, and he's going to lose his tax, and with that, he is going to lose the game. 6 VPs remaining for Val.
Victory is but a prelude to the next battle.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how Val even came back from that mid-game. He was in such a bad situation. Obviously, Cry made some pretty major misplays here. Oh, there would have been no comeback. Like, he was in a extremely dominant position. But there you go. That was the match. I guess the TFC, yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the tier 3 fast tech really didn't work out. The Predators didn't put in much work. I think Cry should have gone for Terminators earlier. I think Assault Terminators would have been great instead of the Predator. And the TFC was just sloppy play. I think Cry got really desperate to close out the game for some reason, like he was on a timer. Maybe your man had to defecate or something. But yeah, really good comeback from Val, and I loved seeing the Armour of Alacrity, Power Fist, Force Commander put in some work. Hope you enjoyed that one, guys. That is going to be all from your boy STD for today. If you want more, check out the Patreon for exclusive content. Torpid out.